Hey, Brother Thompson, how are you? Are you good? You hearing me? Doc, Doc, hey, Doc, are you hearing me?
Good evening, Doctor Mr. Soso. How are you doing?
Not bad at all.
Welcome to the Workers' Voice.
How was your day?
All right, it was a wonderful day indeed.
Okay, so you have the testing going on already. Very good.
All right, we're live with the Workers' Voice.
Yes, certainly. Yes, so good evening to everyone. And this is the Workers' Voice. Welcome to the Workers' Voice, our radio program hosted every Tuesday by yours truly, the Public Relations Officer of the United Workers Party, Glenroy Susu Coffee. On the verse tonight, we've got the political leader, Dr. Thompson Fountain, and we have always promised that we from time to time will bring a few persons once they're available, but everybody's busy working hard, and as we know, we have declared this month the month of we declared this month the month of confirmation, and we are saying that we are hard at work. Everybody is now doing what he or she has to do, and so we want to say a special good night to you, and we will continue our talk tonight on confirmation and what is happening in the Rosenau constituency. Let me just say a special good night to all those who are joining us right now, and to everyone in Dominica, to all those who have lost loved ones, and to all those who are going through a downturn in their life right now. We ask the good Lord to pray on your behalf and intervene on your behalf. We always need some intervention some way, somehow. Special good night to our executive members, our caretakers, candidates, supporters, well-wishers, listen to pray for us, and everybody in Dominica, to the nurses, to the civil servants, to the mechanics, to the painters, to all the skilled workers, to the service providers, whatever you do, whether it's telephone, internet, hairstyle, barbering, whatever you do. We want to say a special good night to you all, and welcome to the Workers' Voice. So, Dr. Thompson Fountain, it's a pleasure to be with you tonight. On my end there, rain is falling heavily. I don't know what the weather like down there, but certainly rain is heavily pouring down at my end there. But by and large, it's cool and warm in there inside, so it's not a problem. But what do you have to say to us tonight? We just what we talk about our program that we have launched and what is happening in the Rosenau constituency.
All right, good nights again, Soso, and of course to our many listeners, a very good night to all of you scattered across Dominica. A very good night indeed as we welcome you to the Workers' Voice. So it's been a actually we are very lucky in the sense that the weather has been relatively good today. We are in the middle of the hurricane season, and as we go deeper into the season, every now and then we get in those possible storms. But so far, we've been fortunate. We dodged a big bullet last weekend, and we're very thankful for that. As we move along, thankful that so far we are already approaching the end of August, and the season seems to be doing well. So we are very thankful and hoping and praying that it will remain that way, that we'll be able to successfully navigate our way through this period there. So we are grateful for that. Well, the work continues, the work of ensuring that we are well prepared for the by-election that is now scheduled for the 7th of September. We have been in the Rosenau constituency consistently. In fact, spent actually all of today there, as well as the previous days, just trying to ensure that the people get the information. Because as you know, in fact, some people have not even realized, as we meet and talk to them, they have not even realized that the laws have been changed. So people are thinking, well, we are going to have an election under the old list, so probably the same process as the old election. But it's an old list. However, it's not like the old election. It's not like before, where you just walk in, declare your name, and get to vote. This time, you must have an ID. And the law goes further. The law insists that it must be a valid ID. And there is some question over this. That is something that we are discussing with our lawyers. For example, if someone shows up at the polling station with a passport that has expired by 1 day, are you going to tell them that that's not they on the passport? They should go back. They will be denied to vote. A fundamental right enshrined in our constitution, whether or not this individual will be able to vote. If, for example, they go in there with an expired social security card, will you tell them they cannot vote because the social security card is expired? If they go in there with an expired driver's license, will you tell them that they cannot vote? It's like having an expired license, and saying, well, you cannot drive. Yeah, it's true, because the driver's license empowers you, or gives you a license to drive legally. Okay, but it does not mean that if you're 2 days shy on your driver's license, you've not paid your license, it does not mean that you can no longer drive. It does not mean that you've lost the ability to drive, right? If you do it, it will be illegal, yes, but it doesn't mean that to be able to physically conduct a vehicle, you cannot do it. It just means that you have an obligation to satisfy. In the case where you're going to use your card this simply as a means to identify you as the voter, the question is whether or not you will be denied to vote. So, we have been out there telling the voters to take no chances, to renew their passports, to renew their driver's license, renew their social security cards, to get their birth certificates, because you also need that. But what we are finding, though, is a number is that it's some very strange practices. So there was one gentleman, for example, that we took to the Social Security Center to get his card renewed. And when he got there, he was told that his Social Security card cannot be renewed because his former employer was not paying his Social Security on his behalf. So, this is very strange. Obviously, the gentleman was quite frustrated, and he threw his hands in the air and said, "That's it. He's not, he's done with this. He's not even interested in continuing the process of confirmation, because he was not aware that his contributions were not made on his behalf. It's not his fault. Yet he's told that his card cannot be renewed. Now, why can't you renew the card even if the contributions have not been paid? It's just really bizarre. And yet the government of Dominica is telling you that you can use that to vote. Okay, so I'm thinking of this. I'm thinking of a case like this where this individual, through no fault of his, he's not able to renew his social security card, but he decides he wants to vote. So he goes into the voters booth and is told that he's not able to vote because his employer did not pay on his behalf, and because the Social Security refused to renew his card. Now, how is that just? That makes absolutely no sense. You'd be Your fundamental right to vote would be denied for no fault of yours. So these are issues that we are looking at, and rightly so, consulting with the lawyers, because we do not believe that any election should be preventing people from exercising their right to vote, and especially when you consider that those changes were made on basically on the eve of an election, literally about a month, just about a month. I mean, those changes were announced to us on the 7th of August, and election was announced for the 7th of September. So you're talking about exactly a month when those changes have been brought in. And now the onus is on us to inform the Dominican public, inform the voters of Rosanov of their rights and what they have to do. And it is just, I think, in a certain sense, it's just not fair. So while we welcome some kind of identification to vote, I still think that the authorities have gotten this one wrong.
Yes, and with all of these shenanigans going on, we really want to urge people to be calm. And this just that the case you made with respect to the gentleman who may have gone to renew his card and is not actually accepted. That is, I don't. That is out of the window. What does a job or not a job has to do with renewal of a card? Because, take for instance, an example. I've not been working for the banana company for a very long time, notwithstanding my social security has been paid, but they have been closed. But going to get a renewal of it, what does that have to do with whether the company closed or functioning? So similarly, what does that have to do with the guy? The guy doesn't employ himself, What they had to do was to take action against the employer, if at all that was the case. And again, I don't know all of the ramifications and all of what surrounding the issue, but it has nothing to do with the person in question who came to renew his card. So I'm saying that this is wrong. The Social Security had no right to turn back this gentleman. Because, say, for instance, if this gentleman gets employed tomorrow by somebody else, he would need to come and get a card. So you're telling me until he doesn't get employed and an employer has interest in him, then he cannot get a renewal of card? That, again, is nonsense, and that has to stop. That, again, is nonsense. That must stop. Because if it was, and I suspect too, because they suspect he may have been facilitated, and it's becoming political now. Doc, do not in your mind believe that things are not being political in this country. Once it is assumed, once it is suspected that an individual is working to vote against his government, every roadblock, every measure is taken to ensure that that individual is blocked. So I'm not surprised that this kind of behavior is something associated with the kind of principle about what is going on in Dominica. That should you be associated with your opposition, then you have no right in the society. You have no right in a democracy. And that is so wrong. So Social Security, if this happens, you have to correct that. The gentleman has nothing to do with his employer not being able to pay his Social Security. And so it's not he that is responsible. He has an expired card and calls for renewal. Renewal has nothing to do.
Yes, exactly. You know, and I mean, and the worst part about that so is the fact that this gentleman now is now thoroughly discouraged. You know, he's like, I mean, come on, you know, he's frustrated. He's like, okay, well, I just will not get confirmed. I'm just, you know, he's not motivated, and we have been trying our best to motivate persons because we want the Dominican Republic to get confirmed. We have mentioned the fact that we are 10 months into a confirmation process, and we are not even at 50% confirmation rates. 10 out of 12 months, and we are not yet at 50%. That is a huge concern, an exceptionally huge concern, and yet we are finding that the system is not something not very encouraging to individuals, you know. And I mean, having spent the last few days in a confirmation center and helping out and so on, you see the frustration, you know, and people have to walk up and down. They have to go, they have to come back. And today, you know, we're dealing with an 83-year-old lady, and you know, we had to pull her out of her home. She came, you know, her name was badly spelled on the voter list. It did not directly correspond with her ID card, and then that is the other thing that you're going to find, you know. So that's the other thing, and I'm glad I mentioned it, because you have persons, right, whose names on the voter ID card are not exactly what is on the sorry, not the voter ID card, on the voters list is not exactly what is there on the ID. Okay, so in this particular instance, the person's name was on the voters list as it is pronounced. I will not say the person's name, but the name was as it's pronounced, but the spelling on the passport was not the same, completely different spelling. But if you pronounce it the way it is on the passport, it comes out the same way it is on the voters list, right? However, this individual now, knowing that they voted since they were a child, they voted for the past 80 years in this constituency, they're coming to vote, right? So imagine now that this individual comes to vote with her passport, and she gets into the booth, and they said, but the name on the voters list is not the name on your passport. That person would probably be turned away. Luckily, she was engaged in a confirmation process, so it was picked up. And luckily, we had our lawyers there ready to do the affidavit for her, so she was able to get it changed. But imagine on the day of an election, if you go in to vote and your name is different from what is on your ID, you may not be allowed to vote. And that's a very real concern that we have. And that's why we are asking, but again, no matter how much we appeal, We may not always reach everybody. We will not ever reach everyone. People just know, well, the old list, they're on the list, they have a passport, they're going to vote. But they might end up coming and realizing that the name on the voters list is not what is on the ID card. So we're encouraging every single voter in the Roseau North constituency to ensure that when the list is posted, it should be posted tomorrow. The final list should be posted tomorrow. When this list is posted, please take the opportunity to look at the list and compare your name on the list with the ID that you plan to use. It is extremely important. In the past few days, we've been in Fonkole, we've had to deal with a number, literally tens of different persons who had problems with their names not corresponding with their IDs when they come to confirm. We are just encouraging you to please, before the election, you do not want to show up and not be able to vote. All right?
Yes, we have a caller. Good
We
evening.
have a caller, yes.
Yeah, good evening, gentlemen. Good evening, Dr. Fong.
Yes, sure. Good evening.
Sir. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, I find, like, when I go to look for my name, they have this lengthy PDF. I mean, shouldn't they have like a little search box where you can just type your name and it comes up instead of having this long PDF? Don't you think that's a little antiquated and inconvenient?
If you're using the list that's on the electoral office website, it does have a search at the top within the PDF. Well, yes, there is a search right on the right hand corner where you can put in your name.
I must have missed it because
yes,
you're going down this long PDF.
Yes, I know, and to go through 75,000 names looking for yours is not.
I'm going to check it out again. Thank you.
Yes, it's there. All right, let's go back to the telephone. We have another call or so.
Good evening, Dr. Fountain.
Yes, good evening. Good evening.
And so.
Yes, good evening, sir, my good friend. Lava State.
Yeah. On the talk about the guy went for his social security and they say the employer didn't pay for him. That's the duty of the social security. Once the man work and he can prove that he work with the company, the duty is to get either take the man to court or see to that the man pay all the money. That's the duty. That's their duty. That's how it was before. I don't know if they change the law. But I was in that system for many years. And that's how it's supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
You have to look out for you, for your interests.
Mm-hmm.
So if when the man comes and paper right, or when they tell you when the guy didn't pay, they have to write the guy, give the man time to come and settle up the man money for him, that he can get whatsoever little he have to get. And they're supposed to be the man's father.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it's supposed to be. So I don't know if fingers to somebody in Dominica. So I don't know. But that's how it's supposed to be. And that's how I know it long time ago.
Yes, indeed. All right, thank you.
And Doc, just as you were saying something, if you have a call,
thank you, Carl. Appreciate this.
If you have a call, stop me. But that's just as you were saying about the discrepancies that are happening now with respect to persons entering the confirmation centers and finding out now that their names on their real ID is not okay. Here's a call. Caller, good evening.
Dr. Fountain.
Yes, good evening.
And good evening to you also.
Yes, good evening to you, sir.
Yes, I'm there listening to the background what's going down. But, you know, one thing I listen to the people from Antigua who is going to have a job fair. All right? And I believe with my heart that is something to shorten or get less young people to vote in the general election coming up. So they send people to try and attract people to come to Antigua. So when it comes time to vote, nobody would want to come back to vote because they're up there working. Understand? So this is what I see is happening from my point of view. Good evening, I'll listen to you.
All right, good evening. Thank you, caller. You know, it's also coming back to this. I'm extremely worried about this. You know, for the very simple reason, because of the number of instances that personally I've witnessed of just mistakes on the voters list, right? Where you have to get the services of a justice of the peace of a lawyer to say that this is your right name. Okay. And sometimes it's just a P. So instead of, for example, you could be Peters on your passport, but on the voters list it is Peter, P-E-T-R, with an S.
Yeah.
Right now the question is, you now believing that your name is Peters on the voters because you voted before. Nobody ever asked you a question. You've come and you voted. You're now going in with your passport, or even if your driver's license and your birth certificate. But on your birth certificate, it is a Peters with an S. Will they allow you to vote? And this is a concern because right now you're not allowed to confirm if there's a discrepancy. So the question to the electoral office: will they allow persons who come up with a passport? Will they allow them to vote in the election? So, these laws that were introduced at the very last minute is creating more problems, for that voting process. And I mean, the only way I can think of how we can deal with this adequately is for people to double check the list, make sure that the names are correct. If the names that the names on the ID that they plan to use to vote does not correspond, then call Danny Luge, call somebody in the campaign, and we'll help you to get the necessary documents to ensure that you're able to vote. But it has to be done. Do not take any chances.
Yes, and I just want to support your point because, and in all honesty, the confirmation process would have allowed persons to rectify those issues. And that's why we're asking them to continue to get confirmed, because it is important when they go, then you can capture that discrepancy if at all it exists. And so, because I've had a few persons in Roseau Central where we went with them, I went with them so that I could witness on their behalf. And obviously their name on the list did not correspond with their ID. And they had to get that affidavit of identity to say, well, look, there is no justice of the peace to correct that. That we understand. Okay, here's a caller. Caller, good evening.
Yes, again, when is the list, the final list for Roseau is going to be coming out?
According to the legislation, it should be available no later than tomorrow, which is nomination day, the final list.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, so we urge people to look out for it. The electoral office should ensure that these lists are posted across the constituency, so people have a chance to look to ensure that their name is on the list, and secondly that they have the correct spelling of their names and so on. That is extremely important.
And
okay, so I have two late parents whose name just may be on the list, so I'll make sure I'll check that tomorrow. But because there's no one them to put using my mother and father's name to do what they have.
Yes, it's likely that their names are still there because remember they've not cleansed that old list. So
yeah, but it may have political cleansing there, and we have to look out for political cleansing. Yeah.
Right, yeah, absolutely.
But if my mother and father didn't show up to confirm, they cannot put them on the confirm list to be voted.
No, but they are not only using the confirm list for. Let's be very clear. According to the new legislation, you're using the 2025 voters list, the confirmation list that has been published to date, and the supplementary list. You have 3 of those lists. These are the 3 that contend for this election.
Well, I'll check that tomorrow and maybe coming.
Yes, sure. Okay, we have another call again. So.
Yes, caller. Good evening.
Hello. Good evening.
Yes. Good evening.
Yes. Let me tell you all. When I listen to the head of the electoral office, she was Mama saying she didn't know to answer question. I don't know whether she is what's her name?
The chief elections officer, Answer Joseph.
Answer Joseph. Answer Paris.
Joseph.
Answer Joseph.
I don't know her surname. I don't know. Listen to me. I am Mama saying, Mama, she couldn't answer the question. And when I listen to my very good friend, Duncan Stowe, saying on public radio that a list was released and there is no address. I say, Papa, but look where they're going to keep the election. A list was released without voter ID. He said, he always had shame when he saw that list. I say, in the name of Jesus, we're going to try to keep that election again. My boy, concentrate on that. Concentrate on that party leader. Concentrate on that. We have to have an ad with Duncan Stowe saying that. that he bowed his head in shame because of that list that came out without addresses of voters. So that's common. That is the way of keeping election.
Okay, caller. Well, yes, caller. Caller, yes, we actually noticed that because the very first set of lists that came out for confirmation, you're absolutely correct. There were no addresses. It simply said Goodwill, Dominica, or Pottersville, Dominica. And we immediately brought that to the attention of the electoral office. And they have since changed it. They have since the list that was recently published does have the.
That's good observation. Very good observation, caller. Yes.
Yes, that's a very good observation. That's what they keep in election.
Yes.
Mhm.
But they're always in shame. That's because that's how they keep in election.
Yes, that's very
All
good.
right.
So I thank you for that. Thank you for that.
Thank you for
All
that.
right, good.
You know, and as the caller talked about that, and also that's extremely important. We have published the supplementary list. It is on the party's Facebook page. It is making the rounds of social media. We are encouraging persons to carefully look at this list and let us know if they recognize the names on this list. I can tell you personally, we have put together a list of about 12 names on this supplementary list that we have serious questions about. These are individuals, for example. One individual is close to their 70s. We know this individual has voted in Dominica before. We know this individual has not lived in Goodwill since they were probably a child. And this individual is claiming to be a new voter in Rosenhof.
That's
the
madness.
one. That is complete madness. There is another one. Again, this individual, from the time I saw his name, I remember that name because I remember querying his name in Grand Forks because he has my namesake, and I wasn't sure who this individual was because the Fontaines in Grand Forks is just my family, just of my immediate family with the Olney Fontaines, and his name came up in 2014. And I asked around who he was. Up to now, we still have not determined who he was. But this same name, same middle name, same occupation shows up as a new voter in Rosenhof. There are others. We have, we have about 12 of those. So we encourage people to look at that list, and if they recognize any name on that list that does not belong in the Rosenhof, please let us know. Please let us know.
No
So
doubt.
we have just before you, we have another caller. All right, we seem
Yes,
to have
okay, caller. Good evening. The caller is on?
we've lost the caller.
Okay, I was saying, Doc, I don't know if you repeated this earlier today. You said 3 lists will be out: the supplementary list, the confirmation list, and the existing list from 2019 go down because that's what the list has to go into now. What is the confirmation list doing amongst those lists? Because why? The confirmation period is not over yet. That is one, so it cannot be used. Only if it is used just for name verification. Because if the confirmation period is still on and is not over yet, and that list, for instance, should not be used.
Okay, I will address that. I will address. That's a very important point you're raising. But let us take this call. Okay, I guess we took too long. The caller is gone.
Okay, yeah. Take the calls. Take the calls.
Okay,
even if
we'll
I'm
take the
talking
calls more quickly. Yeah. So that's a very important point that you're raising, and I suspect the reason for that also is because as part of the IDs for this Rosenhof election, they'll be allowing the use of the voter ID card.
Right.
Now you're issued a voter ID when your name appears on the confirmation list. Okay, so now you have a voter ID where your name on the confirmation list could be different from your name on the old voters list.
Okay,
so it makes sense that you have an ID that corresponds with your name on the list. Because if you had a voter ID card, say for example, you're now using your married name, your maiden name is on the registration on the old list. If you now show up with just the old list and you show up with your voter ID card, you would not be able to vote because it would not correspond. All right, so it makes sense to have the confirmation.
Yes, but
for that purpose.
Yeah, but we want to be clear on that. And when you get the call, just shut me up.
Yes.
Yes, caller. Good evening.
Good evening, Brother Soso.
Yeah. Oh, Brother Luge.
Man enough for Rosenhof. He's with us.
In his hand. Yeah. Danny Luge, the man enough for Rosenhof.
How are you?
I'm very fine, thank you. Very fine, thank you.
Well, Danny, we should be asking you because you've been going like the
Yes.
Energizer Bunny this
Yeah,
past
I
few
heard that
days.
you do
You've
not
been
take energy drinks, but
Yes.
it seems to me
Well,
you are well fed for the
I'm a
mission.
little tired. I'm a little tired. That's why I'm not in studio. However, I'm laser beam focused,
Very good.
winning the Rosenhof constituency in the upcoming by-election in a big way. Despite all the shenanigans, I will not focus on that. What I would say to the people of Rosenhof, come out in large numbers. We're going to vote with a vengeance. For the 26 years we have suffered under this regime who have denied us basic supplies after Hurricane Maria. When I filled in 500 forms for help for my people, I was a sitting parliamentarian at the time. But we're putting all that behind us and we're taking our revenge this time. I do not want to be sidetracked by all the so-called shenanigans. What I'm laser being focused on is to ensure that the people of Rosenhof have a valid passport which they can use all by itself. It's a standalone document. This you will be able to vote in the by-election. Or if you have a valid driver's license with your birth certificate, you will be able to vote in the by-election. Or if you have a valid social security card with a birth certificate, you will be able to vote. If not, you could get a document, how you call it, from the Justice of the Peace. What's the name, Doc?
an
Affidavit of
affidavit.
identity. Yes, affidavit of identity.
No. For the past, this week, we have been in the Fokole area. We want to tell you we have a wonderful lady down there, Vina, who is helping out people to come get those documents. In other areas, we want to tell you, don't be afraid. Call my number. My number is 285-5395. 285-5395. And we will help you out to get those documents. But don't be discouraged in any way from what you hear. Rosenhof has always been a seat of the United Workers' Party. We have never been bought. We have never been sold. We never bend our knees. We never bow. We are proud people who build our homes and our lives, block by block and floor by floor. So we'll keep our head up high. We cannot be bold. They give you some money, take it, it's yours. It's your money. They cannot buy you with your own money. So I'm telling you in Rosenhof, listen to your two-time champion, Danny Luge, who served you well in Parliament and will serve you a third time in Parliament to the best of his ability. They say he's an old man, but some of those are saying that they look like my granddad when my energy level proves otherwise. So I will serve you people of Rosenhof to the best of my ability. But don't miss sidetrack. Come September 7th, we're going out in droves from north, south, east, and west of the constituency to make a statement, big and bold, that we are voting for change for our children and our grandchildren's sake. So don't be discouraged. Don't be dismayed. Your champion is leading you to victory in a big way come September 7th. Thank you.
Yes, Danny, just before you go, and that's very important because we, as you rightly said, we're encouraging the Rosenhof constituents to come out in their numbers to vote. I was making the point, and I want you to, as you go out, to reemphasize this point with us that the list should be posted over the next few days. That people should take time to look at the list because based on the sheer number of affidavits that we've had to fill out, it is clear that there are lots of errors on the voters list. And we want to make sure that people's IDs agree with whatever is on the voters list. Okay, so if, for example, there is a mistake in your name on the voters list, it does not correspond exactly with your ID, you will need to get an affidavit in that case to fix it. Okay, so I just want you to when you speak to your to the constituents, to remind them of that, to take time well before the election day to scrutinize the list to make sure that their names are correctly spelled on the list and it corresponds with their ID.
yes, we will allow the people of Roanoke to look at that list closely. And we will have our legal advice, our lawyers assisting us with that. But we must never take our eyes off the prize. In that September 7th, nothing will dissuade us, nothing will discourage us. We're coming out in large numbers, we're coming out early in the polls to make a big statement in Roanoke that we're going for a big win. We're going for the jugular to ensure that the people of Roanoke will rise from the ashes to where they belong. Roanoke is a proud constituency, and we will ensure that we get that victory come September 7th.
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Luge. And as
Thank
I
you
said,
very much.
285-5365. Contact Brother Luge. 285-5365. You can call Brother Luge and make sure that you are arranged so that if you have any of the problems that we have spoken about, which is important to highlight, because we don't want the day of election, you are going to look for names, and very important, early out, vote them out. The point is, you must go and find out where your name is so you know where to vote. So on the day of elections, you will not be going up and down saying where you have to vote. So it's very important that you take
very
note.
important. So not only scrutinize the list, but also
you do not dry run. You do not dry run. Check the list. Check the list.
Yes, that
Check the
and
list.
also the fact the other reason why they need to check the list is because Roanoke traditionally has always had 7 polling districts. With the exception of from 2019, they introduced a new polling district, NO8. And that created some problems for the voters because people were used, because those names in NO8, they were pulled out from elsewhere in the polling districts. All right. So when I think it was pulled out from NO7. So when people went to their regular places where they used to vote in, their names were not on the list, and that created quite a lot of confusion. Well, this time, they're going to have 2 additional polling districts, NO9 and NO10. So it means that these are 2 new polling districts where persons who voted in other polling districts, in polling districts 1 to 7, are going to find their names. So, for example, we understand from conversations with the electoral office that NO10 will be comprised of persons from NO5. NO5 is interestingly enough, is the Foncolé area, NO5, right? They are going to create NO10. They're going to draw voters from NO5. Now we don't know who these voters are. If it is what category is from A to C or last name, we don't know as yet because we have not seen this list. But that's going to happen, and that's another reason why voters must scrutinize the list. Because if you were used to voting in the community center in Foncolé, there's a good chance now that you no longer have to vote in the community center. You'll have to vote elsewhere. Now, where that is, I don't know because I've not yet seen the list that has the polling district, the polling station for NO10 or NO9. Okay, so it's extremely important. I cannot stress that. Do not wait for the election day to scrutinize the list. So you know you're used to voting, for example, at the Goodwill Primary School. Don't just go to the Goodwill Primary School on that day because your voting district may have been moved. All right, so that is extremely important. We do not want that election day chaos where you show up in your usual place of voting and you are told, hey, sorry, your name is not there. You now have to go and vote no longer at the Goodwill Primary School. Your station is probably somewhere in Goodwill or somewhere up Stockfarm or somewhere. Okay, I cannot stress that enough, how important that is.
Well, yeah, thanks for the clarification, and it's very good. And thanks for the education as well, because we need to do these things, because, people can get frustrated on that day when they go one place and their name is not there. Then they get frustrated, they have work to go and they have work to do, they have their children to mind, they have other things to do. So we are directing you to do so. But notwithstanding, and as Brother Luge said, early out, vote them out. We are going in mass in Roanoke. Just get all what is necessary or all what is required to have you voted. And so you just be ready to get them out. and notwithstanding all of what they are trying to do to frustrate the process, it tells you that we are going to make a resounding statement in Rosenhof, and we are going to vote them out. But nonetheless, we are calling on the Electoral Commission to do some out-district interaction with people. They need some real out-district interaction. They need community interaction. They need to educate the people and the voters. I think they're not doing enough. And that is why in a short space of time, you have all these changes, and the Rosenhof people are now, that is the template for testing the real thing. And I don't think they have done it justice. And it's only one constituency. They should have gone out there and tried to educate the people, to let them know what is happening and to let them know about the changes of the various polling districts. It may be necessary, it may not be necessary. I'm not questioning that. Rosenhof, all we are telling you to do is to go out on September 7th, early out, vote them out, early. I'm talking about early out to vote them out, so that we make that statement that this government should be no more, and we do not want them anymore. And we are saying, if you should you contact Brother Luge, his number is 285-5365. Contact Brother Luge. Remember, he's not hiding his number like some of the PAL reps. He's telling, we've got a caller. Caller, good evening. Good evening, caller. You are right on. Go right ahead.
Hi, good night, gentlemen. Good night.
Good night.
I want to ask a question. The question is, who introduced that confirmation?
Who introduced it?
Who introduced it?
This was passed
Was
on.
that introduced by none of the people, the advisors?
That's an act of parliament.
For the election?
No, the government of Dominica, they completely ignored the advice of Sir Dennis Byron, and they went ahead with the confirmation. So that's the government of Dominica.
A case pending in the court for what happened on March 19th, 2025. Because remember, these guys held us under gunpoint for them to pass their illegal law. So we should have a case there. We are supposed to put in our money where our mouths are. So we should have a case in the court for that. So they're taking advantage of that because they hold us at gunpoint for them to pass their bad law. Hello?
But,
Yes, caller. I agree with you. It's bad. It's terrible. I mean, a re-registration would have been so much easier and cleaner and better.
yes, and the caller is correct as well.
Okay, thank you, caller.
Yeah, is the another call? But the caller is correct, in what he's saying. But we also know too, there are chances. You have a chance when there is especially a supplementary list. The supplementary list is not the final list. It's a list that is posted, and you have a time frame in which you have to do what you can contest names, and you can look at it, vet it, and see whether or not names have come up falsely.
I hate to interrupt you. That was under the previous.
Caller, go ahead.
Yes, no. I'm interrupting you on that definition of supplementary. That's how it's.
Well, as I know, you will comment after, but I'm saying for this.
They have changed. No. There is no thing. They have changed the law. So they changed the law during the budget.
But how could they do that?
That's what I'm telling you. The law has been changed so that the supplementary list that was published on the 7th of August at 5:45 p.m. That is the list because that was published on Friday. The writ for the elections, the announcement was made, on Sunday, Sunday the 9th. Monday the 10th, the writ was issued for the election. And the law states clearly that list that was issued on the F is the final list. And it cannot be questioned. It can only be questioned after the election. Okay? So I just wanted to correct that because in the past it used to be supplementary, give you a chance to review and so on and come back. That is gone. Okay? Under the new legislation of this Labour Party. And we have another caller.
Yes, caller.
Good evening, Fireman Touching Good. Brother So.
Hey, how you doing, brother?
Boy, when you come in and link me up now, I'm looking for a little really guy, but anyhow, moving forward. So, Mr. Thompson, let's get it real. The brother just call and say something, let's get it real. if the government do something, it was in Parliament. The senator from Marigot voted for it, right? And the bill passed. You there with me?
Yes.
So that was something wrong or that was something positive?
No, I think what the caller was saying is that the law is a bad law, and I agree with him. That's what I'm telling you.
And you said, well, and you said that they didn't take the law, the concern of Baron whatsoever. Remember, Baron is not organized by the government around the issue, but besides that, no. It has a program on the national DBS radio, which is our station, the People's Station, national radio station, right? Now we have a by-election in Goodwill North, right? Now we have 2 candidates on the program, and they invite Danny Lugay. How many times to come on the program, and Danny Lugay failed to come on the program? Are we checking that now, really and truly?
Well, the election now thankfully calls for equal time, so we'd expect our candidate to participate because of equal time right now.
No, but that's what I'm saying. No matter whatsoever, they give you a time like everybody. I mean, you have to realize. I mean, I've seen as a politician, everybody knows what party is supporting. Everybody knows I defend my country, no matter what. Just like politicians, my brother for a long time, 100 years. You have his party, I look back to him, I love him, respect him, but his party can go on the fire. Same, but I'm saying, there's a politician. The national station is our station. You have 2 candidates on this station. I don't see why you have to come on this station for people like firemen to ask this question, because you know what I'm saying. But anyhow, good program up and running, Mr. Thompson. Fireman running, I'm listening, bless up.
All right, thank you, sir.
Yes, fireman. But we must say you are. I know you used to be a road enough man, so you better get yourself in order to be early in, early out. I know you say you know who you're voting, but I know this time around you are telling your friends and myself. Well, you don't tell me directly, but through other communication channels, you have been saying, look, so we are going to vote the United Workers Party because you are ready to an alternative viable party. But Doc, yes, Rosenhoff again, a strong appeal to go out, to get confirmed, go out, get the necessary documentation required to have you able to vote on September 7th, and you are voting by the SOR, United Workers Party, and Danny Lugay. As we said, forget about all what is happening right now. We know now, once your name is on the list, you are advised to check the list and to just be aware that your name is somewhere on the list and know exactly where you have to vote, so that on the day of elections, you are not going all over the place. And we are saying to you that not because the government side register you that you have to vote them. We are saying to all Dominicans that enough is enough. Our government can be there for 26 years and still trying to steal through the electoral process. Once you're starting to interfere with the main pillar and foundation of our democracy, then that is something that we have to question. It is something about you. You have led by deception. You have governed by deception. You will be removed from office because we don't want any more deception. So Dominicans, be minded that 26 years is enough. Enough is enough. You may have voted Labour before, but it's not because they register you or couldn't get you have to confirm or give you this or give you that. You have an obligation to your children, to your family, to healthcare, to good economic standing, to good quality of life. We are asking you to go out in Rosenhoff as an example, to make a big statement, a statement of justice, a statement of democratic principles, a statement of choice, a statement of liberal thinking, and you are going to vote the United Workers Party. You are only going to vote by the SOR. Brother Lugay, Danny Lugay, the man enough for Rosenhoff, has been there fighting for you for many years now and has never given up. United Workers Party, under the leadership of Dr. Thompson Fontaine, we have been there all along. We have never given up on you. It is time that you make that statement that enough is enough and be judgmental, be calm, be sober, be focused, and we are going to remove this government. We do not want any more Labour Party representatives anywhere. We are going to remove them at the polls. We can do it. It is because of you that we are encouraged, and it is because of all of us that we have a chance to remove them by the ballot. That's what we are going to do. You must be highly spirited, you must be focused, and you must be ready to exercise your franchise, and we are going to vote them out. Rosenhoff, the man is Danny, and contact Danny 285-5365. We have work to do, and we continue to do the work. Let us mobilize Rosenhoff in high speed, in high gear, and we will never return to what we used to be before. Because after 26 years, A government cannot give you a report card and it's stewardship of Rosa North, but they come to tell you what they are going to do after 26 years. That can be right now. Doc, what you saying?
You know, believe it or not, so we have only about 17 days, you know, to the election. So
yeah.
It's literally around the corner, less than 3 weeks. And that's why we are encouraging our people from Rosa North to make sure that they are ready for this election and that they're ready to give the support. In the coming days, the United Workers' Party will continue to be everywhere in the constituency. We are going to be focused from Saturday in the Pottersville area. We're going to be in the Pottersville area. And then from there, we'll move to Yampies and to Gutter Village, and then to Goodwill, and then Upper Goodwill, and then Louisville. So we are really spending time in the constituency, and we are encouraging you to come out, meet the candidate, talk to us, listen to the plans that we have for Rosa North, and to give us your support. But I must say, though, that I've been extremely encouraged. You know, it's a lot of hard work, but it's pleasing work in the sense that the response from Rosa North has been exceptionally good. I mean, you go there and people welcome you to their homes. They're happy to see you. They're happy to be, to feel engaged in the process. And I think importantly, the Rosa North constituents are understanding just the historic importance of that election. Because Rosa North is like what we call the tip of the spear. Rosa North is going to lead the charge in bringing fundamental change to this country. And the way they're going to do this is that they're going to send a very strong and resounding message to this government on the need for change. So we are going to see an election where people are going to come out to express their view that they're tired of 27 years of the Labour Party, that they want to see the United Workers' Party take over the reins of government. And they understand that it's only a by-election, but with the knowledge that the general election is not too far behind. So Rosa North is going to lead that way. And it is that excitement that we are feeling as we go through the various areas there, the various hamlets within Rosa North. I'm talking about the Yampies, Stock Farm, Bellevue, Tarishpeat, you name it, Gutter, Foncollet, Goodwill, Louisville, all across the constituency of Rosa North. And we are back on the telephone.
Yes, good evening, caller. You are right in.
Good night, so.
Good night.
Thompson Fountain.
Yes, sir, good night.
Okay, I have a friend that lives on that street below the hospital. His name is Andrew Daly. He not too long they cut one of his legs. And he asked for social to come and check him. Or Danny Lugue. Here where you be. That street below the hospital on your left-hand side. As soon as you enter, I believe the second house on your left, that is his house. Please,
McIntyre Lane, yes.
McIntyre Lane? Okay, Mr. Andrew Daly.
Andrew Daly.
Yes.
Okay.
He just come out from hospital.
Okay.
Okay, and good.
He got his leg and he want to get confirmed.
Thank you.
Okay, so we'll pass on this message to Danny, and we'll make sure that he does in fact get confirmed in the process. Thank you for passing that message. We really appreciate it.
Okay.
And Doc, while we're
yes,
we want to emphasize too that while the emphasis right now is on Rosa North, but we are asking every voter in all the constituencies to ensure that he or she gets confirmed, and to ensure that all of the requisite requirement or the documentation documents are available so that you can get confirmed. So while it's true that we're emphasizing on Rosa North, it is not that we are not going in the other constituencies, but we are saying while this is happening, it is incumbent on you, the elector, to have change in Dominica, so that wherever you are in Dominica, you should ensure that you go to the respective confirmation center and get confirmed. So that should be clear as well. notwithstanding our emphasis right now is on Rosenhoff because we have that by-election coming up. And Doc, just information I got with respect to the the confirmation, you know, a law person. I'm guided by this. I was just asking the question whether or not the supplementary list vetting has been made redundant under the new law, and the response was absolutely not. That list is the end result of applications that have been approved, and that approval has to be subject to the applicant's meeting the criteria for registration. What may have happened though is that why that happened in that case is because the list came out late, and it came out while at the time the writ was actually doing. So there was no time for vetting. But it is not out of the window that once the list is submitted every quarter, people have right to vet the list, because remember, you apply for registration, but have you met the criteria for registration? And that will lead people to vet that list so that we should know whether or not you are qualified. So obviously, the way it happened, it was unavoidable at that time. We could not have done anything, but it is not abandoned as we speak under the law.
Oh yes. Sorry. Yeah, no, yeah, because I guess we use supplementary loosely. I was referring to the supplementary list in the case of Rosenhoff and the writ being issued. Because the law is such that as soon as the writ is issued, you can no longer query that list until after the election. So in that context,
once the list, the supplementary list is out, it is not the official list yet. In the case it happened that unavoidably we could not have done anything, but yes, the list has to go out. People vet it. I want to have queries, or because you have some people who falsify registration, and once that can be proven, the electoral office then go and they vet it, and then subject to vetting, they will have to make a determination as to whether.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to query this because, as I said, I gave examples. I gave you free, clear examples. There are others, free, clear examples where we do not believe these persons should be on a new list of voters for Rosenhoff.
That's correct.
Individuals who appear on other lists, other voting lists, should not be saying that they're new voters. And especially as we learned today, that the transfers have not yet started. So you cannot claim, for example, that if you were on let's assume that you're on the grand confirmation list, your name appearing on a confirmation list in Rosenhoff, it cannot be because you have transferred, because the transfers are not yet happening. All right. So we have legitimate reasons to question some of those entries, and of course we'll be doing that. But the concern also, one of the other concerns that we have is the fact that with 10 of the 12 months gone, that is initially allowed for confirmation, we are only about 49.2% nationally in terms of those who have confirmed. So we have a gigantic task before us to get the other 50, or rather 51.8% of persons to get confirmed before or quickly.
Yeah, caller, good evening. You're on. Caller?
Yes, caller, good evening. Okay, we seem to have lost that caller.
In the meantime and between time, we are saying Rosenhoff, get ready to do a landslide in Rosenhoff to bring home a resounding victory, to tell this government in non-certain terms that you can come and just do what you want. After 26 years, you have failed the Rosenhoff constituents. It is not time that you come now to rectify. You cannot rectify anything after 26 years. It's time to go, and you need to actually demonstrate that when you go to the polls on the 7th of September. So we are saying to you, gentlemen and ladies in the Rosenhoff constituency, you are the persons who will determine who your next representative is, and the only thing that is left to do is to remove this government. There should be no sign of them. In the time of the United Workers' Party, we used to do work where people did not represent us. With this government, they have a policy now that they do not take care of those who have not voted them, notwithstanding they are governing the country after an election. We are not into this policy. After election, the country should be governed by the government, and every citizen is supposed to be taken care of. Their policy is bad. You have to treat them like they treat you, or you have to treat them like they have treated you. I'm saying to you, it is time to answer. They have called the election. We need to respond to it, and we need to respond to it positively. We are going in full throttle with everything we have to remove this government. No more time for them. It's time for them to go. It has failed Dominica after 26 years. Yes, caller. You are on.
Great. Good night. Hello.
Good night. Hey, brother.
Yeah. What's happening?
Yeah, I'm very fine, man. You sound great. How are you? How is the family?
Yes, dear. So.
Hello, sir. Good evening.
Something.
Yes, sir. Good night.
Registration on ongoing now. Registration of elections is a thing that's been ongoing.
Yes, it's continuous. Correct.
Yes, it's continuous. Very good. Yeah.
So, what that supplementary list should have been out long before.
Here you go.
Huh?
Here you go. Here you go.
So that thing was about the last moment and thing about ready. So what is their plan is a still. What I say really, that is just a still going to go on there for the time being. Because they don't give you time to register. They don't give you time, they don't give you anything. They say they read come Sunday night in the middle of the night and they give you all their business.
Right.
I personally believe we should be organizing to begin to get funds. So we have to fight. There'll be definitely, even in case we cannot get justice, definitely we have to get our funds ready to go right up to the courts over the same courts. Because I've seen already all that thing happening in the close it down. First time in the history, I have had so much problems like that. I had so many problems in elections. I am looking forward, 60 years, right? 6 decades. And I have never seen that problem like that, so much tangling and so on. So that plan is a steal. And then we have to put our money together, get our business together and make sure we get ready because there's definitely, we have to go to the courts. And I can say already. And I already say you cannot query during the election, during the time and so on. It's absolutely somebody who wins. Then you can query. I never heard that before. So everybody can see the intention. So while we tell people go and reconfirm, and tell them go and reconfirm, but the name still can't be on the list now to go vote on the 7th because the week passed already. They don't reconfirm now. They can reconfirm the so they hide it from the party. So I think we have to be ready, get our funds and get ready for anything happening. You see? I can say that already, I know. That's my feeling. I think I have to.
All right. Okay. Thank you, caller.
Yes, and we are out of time. It was a 1 hour program. We're out of time. And if we have one more caller, we could take this caller. But we are saying again, someone said in our chat over there, once someone is already on the system, all that is needed, and I'm talking about the system of the Social Security, all that is needed is that he or she pays to renew his card. The employer's failure to pay should have nothing to do with whether or not the card should be renewed. So we are warning the Social Security that they should not use that as an excuse. People come to renew their card, they are under obligation to give people their renewed card. And that's what we are saying. And so, Doc, we are saying again, we are reiterating our point that Rosa North has to come home. Rosa North is already in the bag for the United Workers' Party. The Rosa North people, by the way, over the years, let me thank you all for the resilience that you have exhibited over the years. Let me thank you all for displaying what they call mannerism, good mannerism, maturity in electioning and participating in elections. You have supported the United Workers' Party for thick and thin. You have demonstrated once and for all that you are people of resilience and you are people that are just people, and you are not going to vote just because you were going to vote. You could do voting for development. The Labour Party has failed us over the years, and that you are going to do one more thing for yourself to ensure that you vote against this Labour Party. So you have to vote the United Workers' Party. Early in, vote them out. Early out, vote them out. Rosa North, Brother Luge is the man enough for Rosa North. You can contact him by telephone number 285-5365. Let your call be heard. Call the man. Get on board. Let us go help him and to do what is necessary to get confirmed and to ensure that we have all the required documentation asked to participate in the electoral process. Doc, we already want to thank you, but before we put on the curtain final of the program, we just want your parting words before we say good night.
Yes, so as I said during the program, a lot of concern around the lack of enthusiasm for the confirmation process. After 10 months, we are just barely 50%. We are not even arrived at 50% of the potential voters having confirmed their names on the list. We need to improve that. So I'm urging constituents across Dominica to tomorrow go out to your polling district, go to the confirmation center, get confirmed. The only way we're going to bring change to this country is with a clean voters list. We get a clean voters list through this confirmation process, and then we'll be able to take care of business as far as getting rid of this government in the next general election. So lots of work to be done. Just go out there, do it, get it done. I know it can be a bit frustrating. We have met several persons who have been frustrated out of confirmation, but we want to encourage you: do not allow the process to get you frustrated. We need you to stay focused. We need to keep your eyes on the bigger price of all of what we are going through. To do less, look up, I say, a poison. The end result of that is a change of government. So it will be worth it in the end that we go through this, but we have to do this confirmation process. Go out there, you need some form of ID to be able to get confirmed: your passport, driver's license, social security card, birth certificate with an affidavit of identity. So get that done, get into the confirmation office, get confirmed so that we can move those numbers. We need to move these numbers from where we are. We need to up it. More and more people need to get confirmed, okay? And I was very much encouraged today to see a number of young persons who came to confirm, even while we were at Fonkole this afternoon. But we need that to be doubled and tripled and quadrupled in the weeks ahead. We do not have a lot of time, okay? We do not have a lot of time, and we fear that persons who are not on the list by October may have some difficulties. So again, we're encouraging you, Dominicans, all of you within the reach of our voices tonight. We're encouraging you, if you have not already done so, to go out there and get confirmed. It's a relatively quick and simple process, as long as you have your identification documents with you. Know where your confirmation centers are. If you're not sure, call your representative or call your United Workers Party caretaker. Next week so we will actually make available to our listeners the contact information and the telephone numbers of our caretakers and candidates in the various constituencies who can help them in the process to get confirmed. Okay, we are willing to do everything possible to ensure that all of our people do in fact get confirmed, so that we can in fact be able to get rid of this government the next time the elections are called. All right, so that's it for me tonight. Wishing everyone a wonderful rest of evening. And if you're in the Rosenhof constituency, encouraging you again to go out there and vote on the 7th. But before, make sure that your name is on the list and make sure that you have the correct form of identification to be able to vote.
Yes, so we want to say thank you, good night to everyone who have participated with us. We are encouraged by your spirit. We are encouraged by your participation. We want to say until next time, this has been the Workers' Voice. We say good night, and until next time, have a good night and have a blessed weekend. Thank you. Good night.
All right.
Oh guys, what a night. I feel good when you're wrapped up in my arms, dancing to a reggae song. Feel good, feel good.